Thank you for joining us for this episode of US Law Live. This podcast is brought to you by US Law's official corporate partners, SCA Limited, American Legal Records, Arcadia Settlements Group, Immersion Legal Jury, Marshall Investigative Group, MDD Forensic Accountants. We very much appreciate your sponsorship and support. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to US Law Live, the official podcast of the US Law Network. My name is Nick Roush. I'm a lawyer at the Larson King firm in St. Paul, Minnesota. I am joined by my co-host, Jessica Dark from Pierce Couch. Jessica, how are you doing?
Hey, Nick, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. This is actually the first time, at least in our history of doing this podcast, we have a rivalry because your Oklahoma City Thunder are playing my Minnesota Timberwolves that are going to be playing shortly in the Western Conference Finals. So we may get some podcasts in through these next few weeks of our rivalry. It'll be interesting.
I am really excited. I'm really looking forward to it. I will tell you that it is our time to shine, Nick. We deserve this. Let us have it.
Minnesota has the longest running pro sports championship drought. So if history repeats itself, we will not be going to the finals. But
Nick, tell me, how many pro sports teams does Minnesota have?
So Minnesota has the Minnesota Wild, the hockey team, big hockey state, and I'm from Iowa, but big hockey state in Minnesota. The Minnesota Vikings, big. Minnesota Timberwolves, the Minnesota Lynx, very, 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 very good in their time. And then we just had the pro women's hockey league that just started, and then we also have the Minnesota United soccer team, and then the women's team as well. So a whole host of pro teams in Minnesota. We love our.
They're also a baseball team?
The Minnesota Twins as well. Yeah, forget about them because they don't make the World Series ever.
Well, sit down and let me list for you our professional teams, and it is one, Oklahoma City Thunder, period. It's all we have. We need this.
Go Thunder, baby. Go Thunder.
Anyway, we digress. I'm sure we'll get into some more of that later with our wonderful guests that we have on today. Today is my friend and F1 fanatic, Cory Feinberg. Hey, Cory, how are you?
Hey, guys. Jessica, Nick, good to see you both. Thanks for having me.
We're so glad to have you.
Cory, thanks for joining us. And for those at home who don't know Cory or haven't seen Cory on the road, he's the general counsel at MoneyGram. Cory, thank you so much for joining us. Is this your first podcast, by the way?
Yeah,
are you a first timer?
Yeah, this is my first podcast. My credibility at home with my teenage daughters is rising with every minute that I'm on this. So we can go all day because I need as much cred at home as I can get. So thanks for having me. Yes, first podcast. Very excited.
I'm up to about 4 or 5 so far. So as an expert, let me welcome you. And we're excited to hear more about you and about MoneyGram.
All right. Well, that's what I'm here to talk about. So whatever, you've got the floor.
Well, Cory, thanks for joining us today. And we have a number of folks, I think, through the US Law Network who do know you, but we also have people listening who may not know you as well. And so I introduced you just briefly kind of as general counsel at MoneyGram, but maybe take the folks kind of through your legal career. I know you're not new to the sort of general counsel position. I know you've been working in-house for quite a while. So maybe take the folks that are listening kind of through your career here and where you're at now.
Sure. No, my road to where I am now is probably not the most conventional road. I went to law school here in Dallas, Texas, where MoneyGram is based, actually. So I went to SMU Law School. I graduated in 2001 from law school, about 3 months before 9/11. So that really shook the whole financial world, legal world. Worked in a law firm for 3-4 years. Didn't really know if this is what I wanted to do. 2005, got a call from a recruiter saying, again, this is before like iPhones and just social media, everything. Got a random phone call that said, "Hey, I have a client looking for an in-house lawyer to manage litigation. I see you're a litigator. You've been doing this 3-4 years. Are you interested?" I had no idea what in-house law meant. All I did was just review documents all day, go to depositions, take notes, just a young associate who, out of law school, thought I ruled the world. So took a chance. That was 2005. 20 years later, still an in-house attorney. About a week into it, I realized this is what I was meant to do. Wasn't super happy in law firm life. I'm really no lawyers in my family, all business folks, salespeople. So to me, it was the first opportunity to really combine legal and business together, and it was an eye-opening experience for me. So was at that company a couple years. I spent about 7 years at Bank of America or their related companies, and then late in 2014, I joined MoneyGram as the head of litigation globally. Didn't know one person at MoneyGram, really didn't know what MoneyGram was. See the signs, saw it at Walmart's and CVS's. So joined the company, fell in love with it instantly. The mission of the company, which, I know we've changed a lot over 10, 11 years during my tenure at MoneyGram, but we're basically, we connect people around the world through money, through the movement of money, and just hearing stories, meeting customers, seeing the impact we make in countries, outside of the US, especially where we don't have, a country might not have the banking resources that the US and other first world countries have. So I instantly fell in love with it. Did that for 3-4 years, became the deputy general counsel, probably a little before COVID. And then ultimately starting in 2024, became the general counsel. So I've been the GC almost a year and a half. It's been about 10 and a half years. We're a totally different company than we were when I joined. Obviously, the digital transformation that we've gone through in other companies like ours. But essentially, what's beautiful about MoneyGram is we literally are everywhere. We have about 480,000 locations where you can walk into and send or receive money globally. We're in every country outside of, OFAC sanctioned countries like Iran and North Korea and Cuba and others. So really there's, you can get on our website and find a location just about anywhere in the world. We also have a huge digital presence with our app now, where, you can buy and sell crypto through MoneyGram. So we really opened up the rails to the world. Like we call it financial inclusion. We want to make sure every single person in the world has the ability to move money, whether you have a bank or don't have a bank, whether you're into crypto or not into crypto, it doesn't matter. We have a product or service that you can use. And so that's been really the cool evolution of the company since I joined. We've gone from just a cash business for the most part to now over half of our transactions are cashless. A lot of people that just, send to wallets and, send from their app, or you can load up a debit card. So there's tons of ways to send, receive money. But obviously that brings a lot of legal challenges around the world when you operate in this many countries. We have a lot of licenses, we have a lot of regulators. So it's a very interesting, complex business. A lot of people think it's very simple. Like, I'm just sending money from the US to Mexico. Like, how hard is that? Point A to point B. But what happens behind the scenes with all the compliance and the banking, treasury functions and settling and having partnerships and marketing, it's fascinating. So, but obviously you need a strong legal team, which I have both internally and externally. And the external piece is really you guys and the network, which has been a huge driver to my success. I mean, I started going to US Law events almost as soon as I joined MoneyGram through my connection at Rifkin Radler, another guy named Dave Wilk, 2 Dave Wilks in the network. But right away I realized, like, okay, this is going to help me tremendously. Because I mean, as I'm sure your other clients who are GCs or in-house tell you, like, our time is very limited to get online and search around and call for references. And so you guys have made it easy on me to really, just manage litigation and legal matters all over the US and all over the world now. So anyways, sorry, long-winded answer, but that's my, that's the career path and current status at MoneyGram, and obviously love the company and our mission, and just, happy to keep going and going. But I'm sure you want to talk about other things than just MoneyGram. We are headquartered in Dallas, by the way. So, where I live. So it's wonderful. And our Dallas Stars play right down. I know you're talking basketball with your Thunder and your T-Wolves, which, by the way, we were in the NBA Finals last year.
That's
and we
right.
got the number 1 pick in the draft. But I digress.
We've already forgotten about last year.
I think we beat both the Thunder and the T-Wolves last year on our way to the finals. Of course, we blew up our team after that. So
I was gonna say, I mean, I don't think we have time to go into the Doncic trade. Maybe we won't. Maybe that's too. I think it's too fresh of a wound. Maybe.
Yes, we did get the number one pick, so
Right.
that helps. And the Stars are still alive, but yes, I'll just watch the Thunder and the T Wolves in admiration the next week and a half.
Well, I think what's interesting, Cory, and you just kind of outlined it, is the perspective really of such a global reach that your company has, right? Not just within our own US borders, but abroad as well. And then also kind of the developing, it seems like technology trend that we all have. I mean, if I looked at my phone right now, I have, two or three different banking apps that I use for whatever cards or what have you, minus the, development of apps that we have like Venmo and then Cash App and stuff like that, where you can send it so quickly. So my question to you is, in this sort of developing age of technology that we've seen, I think all companies, whether you're a product manufacturer, we see it a lot in just the development of technology. In the trucking space, there's a ton development there too. I think just in terms of technology and stuff that's going into not just engines, but safety protocols as well. Maybe you can touch on that a little bit more about sort of what you're seeing in this trend of technology, how it's blending into the legal side of things, and maybe things that are on the horizon for you as hot issues that are coming up, maybe more and more, things that maybe you didn't think were going to be an issue 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, what's cool about our company is, we have this huge retail, like physical location network that we have. And a lot of people think, well, with everything going so digital, is that still even a thing? But what people don't understand is there's a lot of like digital fintech only companies that need like a cash in, cash out kind of like rail system that they can use. So companies are coming to us that like, we've done deals in the past with like an Uber, for instance, that wanted to pay out drivers in cash, but didn't have a way to do that. So they would partner with us to say like, hey, maybe a driver will want cash. So Uber is like, so we do a lot of things called like business disbursements where we sign up partners that are businesses that need to pay people in cash. So while we are moving digital and you can send money digitally through us and a host of other apps and banking, companies, as you know, financial institutions, we also are able to use our physical network to partner with a lot of companies that don't have a cash network. So it's actually become a really big asset for us to grow. But as far as our app is concerned, one area, the world's becoming so global. People are traveling the world, meeting people over. Venmo is amazing, but it's US to US. So if you ever tried Venmoing somebody in Canada or Mexico, you can't do it. So we think that's an area where we can kind of fill in that gap where people, go study abroad, meet somebody or have a family member. And the other cool thing about our company and the way we're set up is a transaction can start in cash and end in a wallet. It can start by an app. Like people use our app in the US, but the person on the receiving end, whether they're in Mexico or the Philippines, they may not have access to a bank. They can pick up their money in cash. So I could push a button on my phone right now, and in 10 minutes, somebody could pick up pesos with cash. So that's the thing. It's like it's a mixing and matching. It's like a transaction can start in cash, end digitally, start digitally, and cash, digital. So we have the ability. A lot of companies are and or. So a lot of companies are like only, they don't have the cash component, or that's all they have. So we've tried to, be kind of that hybrid company where we can come in and say, if you want to just deal with cash, great. If you want to use an app that ties to a bank or a debit card, great. If you want to buy crypto, you can do that now. We really want to have, nothing, obviously everything has to be, we have to have the right licenses, and we work with our regulators, and, there's a lot that's why our legal and regulatory departments are so big, because we're all over the country, all over the world. And there's different requirements in different countries. But again, back to the network, not to bridge back to that, we're trying to get into the buy and sell crypto in Argentina. And somebody came to me and said, do you know a law firm there? I said, actually, I do. I just met one at the last US Law conference. So those are ways that it's been able to help us move faster. Cause I mean, things are changing, like you said, 10 years ago to today. I mean, the evolution of apps and all these new players, you have to move quick, and you've got to, we have product people, we have engineering people but they need the sign off from legal or from the compliance team. So having people, really anywhere in the world that you can call. I mean, we have lawyers on my team placed in different regions, but we're not in 200 countries. We don't have 200 lawyers in 200 countries. So you need a lot of local counsel that know the regulations, can guide you. So again, back to the network, it's been super helpful, not just in the US, but abroad. I've used a lot of the firms, Canada especially. So yeah, it's a fast moving world. Nick, to answer your question, there's a lot of competition out there. The remittance space, I mean, the payments, I mean, billions of dollars get moved every year. And so you've got to keep up or else someone's going to take your market share. So we're constantly trying to come up with new ideas. And again, back to the whole like financial inclusion, we don't want anybody left out of the financial ecosystem. If you don't have a bank or you don't have high limits at a bank or you can't get a credit card, but you want to help pay for your aunt's surgery back in name your country, like we want to be able to be there. We want to be there for you. And we are. So, I annoy my kids a lot when we travel and I talk to like Uber drivers or waiters or waitresses that I like see that I've got like my MoneyGram F1 backpack or shirt on and I use MoneyGram. And then my kids are like, Dad, please don't like, so I'm like, oh, where do you send money to? Tell me about your customer experience. So that's when it's really cool. Like you feel like you're really doing good work. When you meet a customer who like, it tells you like, without your company, I wouldn't be able to, my family back in name or country wouldn't be able to eat or pay rent or whatever. So, I've come to America to make a better life, but I need to send money home every 2 weeks and I use your company. You hear that, even though my daughters, who Jessica knows, are like rolling their eyes at me. For me, I'm like sending an email to the executive team, like, hey guys, I just had this awesome conversation. So that's what it's all about.
Something that all daughters must do to their fathers.
Yes.
But I'm sure it is also helpful that I'm assuming you get some good ideas and some tips from those conversations of what's something that we could do better to help with. So we've talked a lot about kind of the regulatory or more transactional perspective. I know at one point you were head of litigation, and as a litigator, I'm always interested in what are some of the challenges or issues or trends that you're seeing in kind of the litigation that you're having to deal with or oversee?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I mean, it's really, the thing that I've learned is having like a global presence. I mean, it is so different. You get sued in California versus Oklahoma by a customer or by an employee. I mean, it's a completely different ballgame. I mean, just whether it's an employment laws that vary from state to state or country to country. So that's the thing. There's really not a one size fits all approach you can take. We are my litigation team, which I used to head up myself. We try to be fair. We don't just roll over and pay people unless we did something wrong, and we'll own up to it. When you do this many transactions, you're always going to have some issues here and there, and you have this many customers. But by and large, our compliance is top notch. Knock on wood, we don't have a ton of cases, but I try to just get a feel for the landscape. To me, the venue is almost as important as anything, as the facts when you're dealing with this global. I mean, Minnesota and Oklahoma. I mean, you guys are both off I-35, but your laws are very, pro plaintiff state versus pro defense. It's a whole. I mean, so to me, obviously a lot of things factor in. Sometimes we get sued along with one of our partners, and we always have to take those things into consideration, just business relationships. But really I'm looking at, the facts and the venue. To me, it's like, am I in California? Am I in France? Am I in a place where I'm not going to get, I'm already, it's like no balls and two strikes and I'm facing my third, like, or am I in a position of strength? So yeah, it's, and then obviously, you've got the regulatory piece. You've got to really pay attention to politics. You had a very active CFPB and FTC under the Biden years out of DC. With Trump, you're seeing a lot of deregulation, but when that happens, you see a lot of state, AGs step up and get more active. So, we have our chief regulatory officer is great friend of mine, and we talk almost every day, and she's based in DC, and you just have to monitor, just all the effects. There's a new remittance tax that's being proposed in Trump's new bill, which would obviously have some kind of impact on us, taxing people that aren't U.S. citizens when they're trying to send money abroad. So it's a constant. I think that's the thing about my job that is sometimes a blessing and a curse. It's so fascinating and it's so interesting and constantly changing, but at the same time, like, you almost feel guilty when you go out of town for like a couple days, whether it's business or personal. It's like you've got to stay on top of things because we operate in all these countries. It's a 24/7 business. We're always doing transactions. There's always, while you're sleeping, there's things going on in the Middle East and APAC and Europe that you wake up to. And so it is a constant. Like, that's something my lovely wife figured out early on. It's like, why are you having to work on like July 4th? Why are you having to check your emails? It's a holiday. I'm like, well, it's a holiday in the US, but 199 other countries aren't celebrating July 4th. So the emails are still coming in. So it's just a very, it's fascinating. And I've learned so much about the world and having colleagues and outside counsel in all these countries. Like, it's really eye opening to learn about different laws and how court systems behave and procedures and food and culture and everything. But at the same time, like, there's no shut off valve. It is 24/7, 365. There's never like a 10-minute period where I don't get an email, like 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. It doesn't matter. So yeah, very, very challenging, but very fun.
Yeah, I think you're right with the venues. I mean, I have some national clients who they have a very hard time wrapping their head around some of the things I will say. I hear you that that's how it works in that state, but totally. You don't practice in this state. Let me explain how our jury is going to respond or how our judge will handle this, regardless of if we think that's the right call.
And I think that's what's great about you guys is you know the client and you know what we have to do. I mean, a lot of times we're like a salesman or marketer or a translator to our boards, to our executive teams, and they don't understand, like, hey, in Oklahoma, that's not going to fly, or in Minnesota, we're not going to win a case, with this type of a plaintiff. You guys helping us, giving us that data, those data points that we can then take and convince somebody that, hey, we should probably settle this case because we're not in a good venue. We have a sympathetic plaintiff. Our judge is appointed by name your president or whatever. So those are the data points that, sitting in Dallas or wherever your clients are based, their boards, their CEOs, their CFOs may not have that perspective. So that's one thing about the network. It's like, I will, whoever I'm working with, like, okay, I need, like, I don't want a long legal memo. I don't have time to read 8 pages. I need like bullet points, but just give me, like, tell me the venue. Tell me the judge. Like, give me those.
I told someone the other day, this judge was appointed by Reagan. So we're in a different mindset with this judge than with anyone else.
But all that's important. I mean, like, we need to know that stuff because, like, again, we have to sell things up the stream or to the board, and we're not in 50 states, so we're in whatever state we're in, so we need you guys and you do a great job of that. So even if it's Ronald Reagan that's behind the bench or an appointee.
Bananas. Well, and one of the other added benefits of our US Law Network is getting to meet you and your family at these events. And right before we started recording, we got to see your daughter Brooke. And I hear you have some very big plans this week. Why don't you tell our listeners what you guys are doing this week?
Well, so my kids are out of school this week. So as they're like, congrats, you made it through another school year. Presents. We're going to see Katy Perry in Dallas. She actually got bumped. It was supposed to be tomorrow night, but because our Dallas Stars share the arena that she was going to perform in, it's now Thursday night. But all good. So yeah, we're big on the 2 teenage girls, as you know, Jessica. They love their music, so we do a lot of concerts. And fortunately, Dallas is a big enough city where we get some good folks that come through.
Well, most importantly, did you take them to see Taylor Swift on the Eras tour?
So I did not.
Wow.
So I'm still paying for that one. I mean, we've done Bruno Mars, Kelly Clarkson.
No.
Okay.
Nothing compared. I went and saw Taylor Swift in Denver almost 2 years ago, and I wear my shirt every night, and then I'll wash it for one night, and then I'll wear it again. It's never going to go out of style.
I have our chief growth officer who's been around actually at MoneyGram a little longer than me and a great friend of mine. She's a big Swiftie. She actually made me a bracelet. It's at my desk at work, but she made me a Taylor Swift bracelet that I wear proudly to our board meetings and executive meetings. So, but still,
you
no.
You better hope she goes back on tour, Cory. If that was her last tour and you did not take your daughters, I will join in with them to riot. I'm not sure what we'll do, but we'll discuss it. And my 5-year-old repeatedly is like, "Can we go see Taylor Swift?" And I'm like, "Honey, she's not touring right now." And I just have to wonder what's going to happen if she doesn't
I
come
know.
back.
All right. Well, I will not let you down, Jessica. I'm in. If she comes back, my younger daughter, huge Swiftie, so yes, it's on the list. But Katy Perry's like a Band-Aid to put over it right now.
I mean, she's been to space.
True.
Katy Perry has been to space. That's true. So.
And Nick, I believe you have some very exciting concerts coming up, right?
It's my wife's birthday today. Today is May 20th.
Oh,
it's
nice.
My wife's birthday. And
Happy birthday, Anna. Woo.
We have birthday.
I'm sure she's listening.
She is this week 31 weeks pregnant as well. So
whoa. All right.
She wanted something fun. We were looking at kind of things that were coming into town, and Post Malone is in town with Jelly Roll, and so we are going to go tonight to US Bank. I have full Post Malone face tattoos that will be on my face in approximately about an hour. I'll send Jessica and Roger Yaffe a confirmation photo of it. But no, it's going to be great. And, hopefully we're pairing that with a Timberwolves win. Although Jessica may not like that. Hopefully we're having a lot to celebrate this evening, but we'll see.
Listen, it is game one, and we're coming off a 40+ point victory over the Nuggets in game 7. I think that the vibes are going to be on OKC's side tonight.
Okay. All right.
That's just
they were just here. Opinion. I think, yeah. Post Malone and Jelly Roll were just here in Dallas, and they got great reviews from what I saw. So your wife is in for a treat, Nick.
You're really playing.
It's not about you. It's not about you. It's her birthday, and she's pregnant. So you're just the driver, and you go get food.
That is exactly right. And we're packing the Tums. We got a little heartburn right now. We're packing the Tums. We're going to get through it. It's going to be good.
Well, as long as she has a seat. I went and saw Garth Brooks when I was super pregnant with my first, and that was another concert I would never miss. But in my old age, I've really pared down what I'm willing to stand for 3 hours at a time.
Right. The couch is just so comfortable, and the beer is free, and there's no lines in the bathroom. I mean,
there are some really good shows on TV right now.
That is, Cory, that's the mentality I had about the Eras Tour. Jessica's not going to like this one iota, okay? But I was like, they're making a documentary. The documentary is going to be free. We're going to watch it from the couch and probably save ourselves $3,000, okay?
We did that, actually, so I should have mentioned that. When I'm right there with you, Nick.
I also watched the documentary. I also went to the movie theater and watched the concert.
I did all those things.
You can do it all. And like you said, Cory, I mean, she came to Dallas. She was there. You did not have to fly. I did. You did not have to buy a hotel room. I did. Anyway, just let your daughters know that I am 100% on their side. And we're going to get them to the next tour.
Got it. Once they know that you're on their side, it's over. I have no chance.
Lock it in.
Yep. Call it now. Hopefully there is another tour. But
I don't know. When Travis Kelce retires after this season, I mean, all bets are off.
Dunzo.
Well, I had to try to get us into a topic other than sports, because that really is what we all bond over and talk about every podcast. And we're going to date ourselves when this comes out after Oklahoma City beats Minnesota. Everyone will know when we recorded it.
That's exactly right. Well, Cory, thank you for joining us on this episode of US Law Live. We very much appreciate you having to join us. For those involved, of course, continue to check us out on the US Live page, wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks, guys.
you.
It was a pleasure and love working with you guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.